Hi, and welcome to a special edition of the Do Something Indie Show. And this one's only going to be on YouTube, not Facebook Live. So this is all pre-recorded. I wanted to get the story straight. And you know, when I get live, I get a little crazy sometimes. But this is going to highlight my trip out to Colorado and how it started and how it ended. So I'm going to start out with where we started here in Alexandria. I went to the candlelight vigil up in Alexandria, and I'm going to just show a little bit of a clip here of how I met with Andy, and he requested I come out and search with him. So let me roll this for you.
Warms the heart to see all these people here tonight. I really needed this support. Really, sincerely needed this support. I came here tonight to say some prayers for Suzanne, and hopefully for her return here to Alexandria where she grew up. And what a wonderful town and community we have here. I asked for volunteers to go out on September 23rd and search for her again. And our mayor said, I'm going. I mean, that speaks volumes. And I'm here tonight not because I want to be, but I have to be. Got to find my little sister, and I have to bring closure to my family. It's been a horrible event. It's been long enough. And yeah, we were quiet for a while because the investigators asked that of us. But it's time now to rally the troops and go west on the 23rd of September and find her. I've got volunteers from the survivors from the Benghazi in the Middle East. 2 of them are going to be there doing GPS coordinates. Chris and Mike on Profiling Evil have been a tremendous help to me. They're going to line up a lot of professionals to help out in this search. I've got almost 35 volunteers all ready to go west. And anybody that wants to go, join in. We're taking boats, kayaks, four-wheelers. I need dirt bikers. I need rock climbers, mountain climbers.
As you can see, there was quite a few folks there that care. And Andy's passion was one of the reasons that I thought, you know what, I'm going to go help this guy out. So I didn't even wait. I was thinking, oh, should I go? Should I not go? And I really did have reservations about going, but I knew after a week I would sit around and think about it, then I'd want to go. So I went ahead and booked, got my Airbnb and my travel that night. I think I came home and got it done that night. And I said, I'm going on this thing. And so preparations begin, and this is somewhere I've never been. It was fun trying to sort this out, trying to get a rental car that was like $1,100, so I was like bumming rides. I was actually able to get one out there with Alicia. She was kind enough to wait a few hours at the airport and grab me up. But I wanted to show you, I ended up taking my bike out, and I wanted to show you what I put it in, because if you take a bike, they charge you $150 extra, unless you have one of these little deals. And this is what they call a chicken coop, and it's so you take the bike apart, wheels go in one, and the bike goes in the other. Zip it up, and it goes on as checked luggage, so no charge. It's great. And then on the way out, got on the plane, got my stuff checked. On the way out, I was looking at the exit sign, and I was like, wow, that's sort of cool. It says Salida. Exit Salida. I'm like, okay, I'm going out to Salida. So it's just one of those little deals that you see that you wonder about. Hey, it's just sort of like a little sign. And then let's see here. Let's get these closed out. So I get to Salida, and Alicia waits, and we get in about Wednesday night at 10, and there was 10:30 or so. And when you get to Salida, I get to my room and I look out and I see this S. Now it's dark out. At night, this S, it lights up. And then here's a closer view of it. And then it has a heart on there too. So I thought, oh, look at this. This town is so into searching for Suzanne. They've put a big S on the mountain with a heart. But actually it stands for Salida. But we say it stands for Suzanne. So that was sort of cool, and it was right outside my window when I looked. And by the way, it goes off at about 4 a.m. So it's on until 4 a.m. I was there ready to go, and so we got our orders to be at the Poncho some visitor center, about 5 miles away. So I had to get up in the morning and ride my bike over there because that's all I had because I couldn't afford that $1,100 rental car. So I get my bike and I'm going. So I'm going through the town and then I see this. And apparently deer are like stray dogs.
The deer are like
and
stray
you can
dogs
hear this
in this town.
overlay here.
Look at those little fellers. There's probably 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 of them.
And so I get out there and we get set up and Andy gives out directions. And honestly, I hadn't talked to Andy, so I didn't know what group I was going to go with. And so I walk up to him and he says, you know, you're going with me today. And that made me feel really good. Like, you know what, this is cool because I think he appreciated the fact that I can cover some ground and help him look. So he hauled me around in my bike in the back of the truck, and that's how we got these really cool adventures. So the first place we went to is where the bike was found, and this was interesting to me because I wanted to see what that looked like. As a cyclist, I'm like, okay, how do you drive off a ravine, and what's it look like? And this was nothing like that. So I'm going to roll this this footage right here, and this is looking down to where they found the bike. And those 2 trees at the bottom there are sort of where they found the bike. And as you can see, there's no brush damaged, and it's fairly steep, fairly steep.
Here we are at the Morphew residence here on Puma Path. And you can see it's no trespassing, so I can only go to right here. But there's the house.
And that second part was a picture of Barry's house, and they had that barricaded off at the front, and I sort of rode around and went over to look and then went back out. It seemed like there was sort of, the police were sort of there to try to keep everybody out and away from things. And it was, you know, fairly interesting, you know, the searching and the terrain. So then I started realizing how vast this area is. I mean, it's just like, I told people it was like finding a needle in the haystack without the needle in the haystack. That's how vast it was. And so there's a couple of the things that we went to look at here. Let's see if I can pull that up.
We are here about a mile away from the Morphew residence, and this is a road that actually is sort of a back road that sort of goes to Denver. And if you were someone wanting to hide something, you wouldn't want to be on cameras, so you could come this way. And I'm going to show you some stuff up here I find very interesting. This is looks like they've done a controlled burn here, where they take the rubbish and underbrush and sort of pile it up and burn it. Some have been burned, some have sort of been burned, but there's a couple of them here. When you look at them, you can see, oh, this looks like just a burn pile where nothing's been disturbed. And there's several of these scattered throughout here. And you could easily get to this from the road, say if you had something heavy to carry. And we're gonna go up here and look at one that sort of caught my attention. You know, notice this one here. Just looks like they piled some stuff up and burned it. Might be a little bit of a hump there, but nothing that looks like it's been disturbed in the last 4 months. And here's another one that sort of got burned. And here's another one. And I'm trying to find the one that I saw earlier. Here's one that's partially burned. So they're scattered all along here and out in the area. And there was one I'm trying to find, they all look the same. There's one I'm trying to find that it just looked like the dirt was higher than the ground. Oh, there it is, I see it. Here's another one. And this stuff doesn't look like it's, you know, super new, but doesn't look like it's really old. But here's one that caught my attention. As you can see, it's really pretty good sized, a little bigger, and there's a couple big ones in here. But this is the part that I find that looks like it's sort of washed out. You can see the washout right here, and that it's just a little bit taller in this area. And if you think about it, maybe somebody that had some firefighting experience might know about these things. And if you were to have to hide something that you wouldn't want somebody to find, burying it and starting a fire on top of it might be a way to do that. And being off the road enough, no one would even see it. That could be a possibility, and just blend in with these other fire areas. So I'm going to note that, because that's what we're supposed to be doing when we're out searching. But I'm telling you, this is like really beautiful country. The guys are down there catching trout, the springs, the water's flowing down. It's very, very beautiful. I wish I was out here on different circumstances. But we have a ton of searchers out today, and I'm trying to do my part. And I will note this for the proper authorities to come check it out, because that one doesn't look like the others.
As you can see, that's, we're sort of off the road a little bit there, and the law enforcement folks did come out and poke a stick in there to check and see if those spots were viable. But, that'd be something that could happen. If you wanted to put something where maybe it wouldn't make a scent, or you wanted to burn it or whatever, that would be one spot. And then later, just on down the way from there, this next site, and, I'll just let this one explain itself.
Well, I'm still searching in the same sort of area, and I see that bone and another bone right there, and there's a bone, and there's a bone. I don't know how bones age or all that, but this is a interesting spot here. And here's another bone. Looks like some sort of rib. I'm gonna guess that's an animal, but I don't know. So I'm going to tell the proper authorities to check it out. And you can see it's just by a really pretty creek with the water flowing down. I mean, if you take a picture of Colorado, this is sort of what you imagine, the water just sort of flowing.
And so that was sort of that area that I was looking at there. And then there's another spot we went to, and I just got some still shots of this. This was, it looked like it was it'd been used before, and this lid had been, it looked like it had been bolted down and unbolted. So, and we looked inside of there, and it hadn't been used in a while, but I guess they used to feed water to somewhere on that. So I got a couple pictures of that. There's where the pipe went, and where that car is where you can see the road. We searched this area pretty good. Didn't really find anything. And that was, that was pretty cool that, we were able to just go look in some areas, and there was other people searching with me. And, but it just reminds you of how vast things were and are. Well, that's where we searched before lunch on the first day. That would have been Thursday. And then in the afternoon, I was able to go with Andy and some others to an abandoned mine site where there was plenty of places to search. So I'm going to go ahead and roll a series of clips here that shows you what we did out there.
Well, this is some sort of mining equipment, and it's got a big gear on it, and it looks like whenever it breaks down, they just throw it out here. But let's go over here and check out this old mine. A little out of breath from riding my bike up the hill. But it doesn't look like this is really working anymore, but I imagine back in the day, they ran stuff through here. And that's why we're up here searching, because it's sort of an abandoned area nobody comes to, but it's really pretty. Some of the rocks sticking out here, I don't know what they mined here, maybe gold, but you can see the trees turning. Okay, we're exploring these mines. This is the Monarch Mountain Mine, and it's got a lock on it, but that's where it goes. It doesn't really go down, it sort of goes into the mountain. And then they have this long runway here. And we were looking in these buildings for anything that might look suspicious or whatever. But this is really old. We found a spot in here where they were digging to try to see if this had been fresher stuff, but dug a few holes and didn't find anything. So let's go outside and see what the outside looks like. So here's the group. And there's what the terrain looks like out here. Look at all the mountains. And that's like, that one's way up there. So Andy was able to get permission to come on the site here. I'm not sure if this is a spot that's going to be real viable, but you'd never know. So let's go over here to the edge and look down. See what it looks like down there. Oh yeah, see, it just sort of goes straight down. But there's the road that comes in. Oh.
That freshly backfilled or anything.
We've cooked enough places.
No boards?
There's like that, more of that, you know, what that is, insulation.
Yeah, it's the facing of some kind of plastic. That is like a foil-based insulation.
Yeah.
Okay, I say we move on. Anybody else?
I'm up here on top of this peak. It was tiring getting up here. I gotta go down, but there's where I was. There's the old abandoned mine. There's some of the searchers. But as you can see, you can go way higher if you want. This is enough for me. Let's walk over here and see. It's pretty windy up here. See if that's a little better.
It was quite windy up there, and we did a lot of searching high and low. And I was very impressed with Andy's diligence. He was relentless all day, everywhere we went. He was into it, wanting to find his sister. So then we went out later on that evening. We went to Wallbangers. It was a local restaurant that served hamburgers, and I went with some people from Alexandria. And we had a good evening. Wallbangers actually provided some food for the search, so we wanted to be good patrons and go have some food there. And they had big old hamburgers, and we had some beers, and we had a decent time getting all ready to go for the next day. So day two got started out on up the same road where I first started on Thursday morning. I wanted to go farther up on that hill and just see what was out there. So here's a clip of what we saw. There's a couple sites here that's involved, and oh boy, it just gives you an idea of how vast this landscape is. So here you go.
It's just simply beautiful here, and I'm riding on a road that comes from by Barry's house, and there is a ton of pull-offs like this from this little road. It's not a well-traveled road that you can just pull off and either camp. Looks like some people have camped here before, or it's parked for overnight, and it's just really cool. But it makes this search so difficult because this is like looking for a needle in the haystack with no needle in the haystack. It's very, very lot of ground to cover. And this little road here goes all the way to Denver, eventually getting on a bigger road. So my feeling is our search is in this area. The group is down at that trout lake searching that area again today. So it's beautiful though, isn't it? Here's another spot. It's just off the road. It's probably only about a half a mile from the last spot I looked at. And you can see there's a lot of area to pull off here. And the road is up there. So there seems to be plenty of these spots along this road where somebody could pull off. And if you look down through here, there's a place where you could actually walk across that to get it onto the other side and go hiking. And I'm pretty sure this area has been searched somewhat. But like I said, if there's one of these, there's 100 of them along this road.
So after lunch, Andy was going to go to a different site, and I teamed up with a guy named Jason, who we are now like good friends. I call him Sherlock, and I'm Watson. I don't know if that matches, but that's what we made up that name. So he was going to go up there after lunch, and I said, hey, I'll go with you. So we hiked up that road in his truck, and we went back like 5 miles on that road, and it seemed like 50. It took us like a couple hours to get there and back. And again, there was just so many places to look. It was just hard to do, hard to check everything out. But we checked around things. We saw some big moose footprints or elks or whatever they were. We saw some deer. We saw some cool blue birds. I don't know what they were. And then we were on the way down. We came out there, and that goes by Barry's house. And sure enough, I see Barry out at the road there in his Ford truck with the Bobcat behind it, talking to one of his classmates that he hadn't seen in years, Mark Canos. And I had talked to him earlier, and so I knew a little bit of the background on that. So we rolled by there, and Jason looked at me, he goes, what do you want to do? I said, well, let's go back and talk to him. He says, what? I said, yeah, let's go back. I'll go talk to him. If he'll talk to me, I'll go back. So we pull on around and come back. I get out of the car, and or out of the truck, and I walk over to him. I said, hey, Barry, can I talk to you? And he goes, who are you? I told him, John Schmitz. And he goes, oh, okay. Well, let me get done with this guy, and then I'll talk to you. So he's outside the truck talking to Mark, and Barry does not know that I know Mark from earlier. So he gets done, and we're in passing. I'm going up to Barry. He's walking away, and I just said, hey, what's up? And he's like, sort of wanted to walk straight, so Barry didn't think we were together or whatever. And so then Barry gets back in the truck, and I thought he was looking like he was going to leave. I'm like, oh, okay, but he stopped. He didn't start it up. And I just asked him. I just asked him what's my burning question that I've wondered ever since the day we had our encounter. What was really bugging you that day, Barry? I mean, it had to be more than just the electricians and my scaffold in your way. And he said, well, I get on the job, I go 90 miles a minute, and, I just wanted to get done, and I was having a bad day. So really, he didn't answer the question because there was definitely something that was bothering him that day. And he started to defend himself on what happened, and I just said, that's all in the past. That's one of my questions was, what was up? And then he finally apologized. But while I was talking, I was looking at him, and I was just thinking, man, this dude, he's tired. I mean, he really couldn't even put up an argument like he usually does. And he's got selective memory, and he likes to tell stories a little differently than they happened. But we did. He apologized. I apologized. We shook hands a couple times, talked about a few other things that I'm not going to mention here. Went on. So here's the picture. Actually, Jason was, had a video of it, but here's a picture of us talking. And as you can see, we're just sitting there talking. And, honestly, I think that for a moment he had some peace out of that. And I got some closure of, meeting this guy, because the first time I met him, he was wanting to rip my head off. So this was a good end of the day. This was about 4:00, and this was on Friday. And we had the vigil coming up. And, and this is, I got to give Jason oh, look, there's photo credit for Jason and Lily, because he was like, Sherlock, he was taking the video, but you couldn't really hear what we were saying, so I just put a still shot up here for you. But this was, like I said, a couple hours before the vigil, and he looked like he was going somewhere. He wasn't dressed to go, so I assumed at that point he was not going to go. And he sort of hung around his house the whole time without joining in the search, which was, very interesting to me. But I learned a lot on this trip. I did. Seeing the place, and it is beautiful. But it did answer some questions that I had of the who, what, why, and where, and when, and all that. But I'm gonna let the law enforcement folks figure all that out and go from there. So that's that part, and then so we get back home, and everybody sort of gets cleaned up a little bit, and we go grab a bite to eat, and then we go to the vigil.
Search, and Lord, that they might seek you out in the Bible, or from a pastor friend or somebody that they know has trusted Jesus, that they might trust him as well. Thank you, Jesus, for doing that for us. Again, be with the searchers. We ask that you'll lead them to clues and to things that can make sense of this. Lord, we ask that you'll free people from anguish and anxiety, any sort of anger and strife. Lord, we're reminded that you're the God of justice. You said, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. We don't have to create that justice. You've already got it in hand. Lord, all we need to do is provide help to the family.
So that second picture, after Andy got done speaking at the vigil, he came back and stood by me, and I gave him my candle because he didn't have a candle. And we just sort of sat there for a second and just sort of enjoyed the moment. I didn't even know that Jason had taken that picture. But like I said, he's watching. You got to watch him. He can take some pictures of stuff. But I'm going to play that again. And this time I want you to look at the very first picture. You're going to see a white-haired guy there with his back to you. And if some of you have followed this case, Salida Colorado, he shows up at this thing. Now, he's beyond that. He's back in the back. You can't really see him. He's got a baseball cap on. But you'll definitely see the gray-haired guy. That's the guy from Dateline. And he's stalking Cassidy. He's going to get an interview. And I don't know if they did or not. I did not go talk to him. I've talked to just about everybody else involved in this deal. But I did not talk to him. But it was important that he was there because I think he had not spoken out. And there was a lot of people that were wondering if he was involved. So I think by him showing up at this vigil meant that, hey, I had nothing to do with this. I'm going to, don't shoot the messenger type of thing. So I'm going to play that again at the very start. I'm just going to do the very start of this. And you can see the guy there right to the right. And then Cassidy is like right in the middle. So that was sort of our vigil drama. There was no Barry did not show up to this vigil. And that was pretty much it. Okay, after the vigil, it was time to go somewhere. And Andy said, hey, why don't you come over to the boathouse? We're going to have some dinner. So I said, hey, okay, I'll go over there. And so we had a pretty nice little group together there at the boathouse. And, it was fun. And also I did a little, on my bike, I did a little tour of the main street there. So I have that started out. Then we have the dinner. And then I have my partner in crime, Jason, and his wife, and Andy when we were out searching. So they were big helps. I mean, it was just a very good effort by all. I mean, we worked. We were out there searching and hunting and doing all that. And I think some of it is symbolic because it's such a tough area to search that like I said, it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack without the needle in the haystack. It was very difficult. And this was on Friday, and I had to go back home the next day. So this was sort of my last night, and I just felt like I got some new friends from Salida that are at this dinner. I got some new friends from Alexandria. In fact, the mayor is sitting right next to Andy. He came all the way out here. The mayor of Alexandria came all the way out here to help for this search. So it's very important. So I'm going to roll this, and you can see for yourself what downtown Salida looks like and what we fun we had at the boathouse.
This is the main drag of Salida, downtown Salida. This is the boathouse. You can see there's a lot of people still out. It's about 8:30ish local time. We got liquor store, cute little town. They sort of have the streets closed off as well for outdoor dining. Starting to wind down. I know when I got in around 10 last night, nobody was out here, so it's really starting to wind down for the evening. Cute little shops. They got some sidewalk chalk going. Looks like about 4 or 5 blocks. More people out. And this is my road. I turned down here, and I'm actually in a bed and breakfast above a Mexican restaurant. Super cool, huh? All right, we're here at dinner after the vigil. All my new friends from all over the place. And these two ladies right here laughed at all of my bad dad jokes.
Oh, yeah.
There's no doubt about that. So, yep, my last night here in Salida. This place is awesome. And these people are awesome. I've never been around so many caring people in a long time. Now, Jason down there, he's Sherlock and I'm Watson. We've been solving crimes all day.
And that pretty much summed it up. So now I get to take the long trek home. So I got a little compilation of my adventure. So I didn't really have a ride back to Denver. It's about 2.5, 3 hours to Denver from Salida. So I was to get up at like 7 in the morning, call the taxi, get to the bus by 7:45. The bus left at 7:45, but it didn't get to Denver till 11, and my flight left at 11:20. And then I was told that we have a 45-minute train to get to the bus or to get to the airport, which I took. Then there was a delay. I had to get off the train, onto a bus, go around the delay, and get on the bus. And I'll get on the train again, then got to the airport. So I left at 7. I got home at 11 p.m. But I was glad, and it was definitely worth going on this trip. So I will show you this last little clip here, and then we'll close it out.
Well, it's about 7 a.m. on Saturday, and this cute little town that rolls up the sidewalks around 10 o'clock last night, because I was out with Andy Mormon and the group down at the Boathouse restaurant. And as you can see, it's quite calm here today in this sleepy little town. Now I'm catching my taxi to catch a bus to Denver, to catch a taxi to the airport, hopefully all before 11:20. It's gonna be very close.
Attention passengers, due to an incident near Van, a bus bridge is in place on the University of Colorado A line between Central Park and 40th and Airport stations. Expect significant additional travel time on the
All right, that last little picture there was no exit or no Salida. So I thought that was interesting. I had Salida going out, exit, and then on the way back was no exit, and sort of summed up our trip as far as we didn't find Suzanne. But I think in my case, personally, I did get to speak with Barry. And as far as I'm concerned, I think this might be the only closure we ever get. I mean, it may get to a point where they find some more things out. But the longer this goes, the more it seems like it's going to end up being a cold case or something like that. But it did clear up in my mind sort of what went on out there. And it's just tragic that things get to a point that they get to this kind of thing. And my heart goes out to both families, anybody involved with this. And there is a huge amount of people that are, think that Barry is innocent, and there's a lot of them that think he's guilty. And it's just one of those cases that you just don't know. I mean, you can speculate, you can do this, but we just don't know what's up with that. But I'm still in hopes that we can bring Suzanne home. And I will definitely be following this case. This is one of the first cases and probably the last case I will ever follow. I didn't know how many of y'all are out there that watch these things and get involved with them. But I really met some passionate people that just care about doing the right thing. And, there's folks online and that are on these channels that, you just sit back there and behind your keyboard. But the folks I was with this weekend, they were the real deal. They are people that care, and they are people that want to try to help somebody else just for the good. So I appreciate you watching this show. And hey, I got like 49 subscribers. If I could get to 1,000, I could do this live, which I would butcher up because I had to do a lot of editing in this. But I could do a live show. It just had to be shorter, so I have less chances to screw it up. So I'm going to go ahead and send the ending on here, and subscribe to the Do Something Indie channel, and you can look at my other shows that we do. Predominantly, that is good things here in Indianapolis that folks do. And every once in a while, we'll have something like this. This is a special edition, YouTube only. And all you true crimers out there, keep up the good fight. Everybody that's looking for Suzanne, let's keep looking. I'd go back again. It was, like I said, if we had to go back and look, I would do it. So I hope you enjoyed this, and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.